Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to today's episode of Stocks for Breakfast. It is Thursday, June 4th, 2020. We're going to take a little bit of a different approach today. We're actually going to go into a little bit of a presentation. I guess you would call it a little bit of a lesson. The market has just been offering these unbelievable bullish opportunities over the last 2 weeks specifically. And what's interesting is if you have not been capitalizing on this, if you have not been looking for spots to do nothing but get long, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, which means something very important. It means that there's a gap between where you are now and the opportunity that's available. And that should be mentally pissing you off right now. I know there's no other word for it because with the stimulus package that the Fed has put out there and the opportunity to be involved in individual stocks that have just been from day to day and week to week, creating some amazing opportunity. If you're not taking advantage of it, I would be pretty pissed off because now actually the market's turning around a little bit today. We might see some profit taking today. So today might be a little bit of a move to the downside, which is many people will say was overdue. But the point I want to get across here is there are certain steps to becoming a successful trader. And I'm not even talking about a successful day trader. I'm just talking about trader in general, where you're holding one of these trades where you buy it on Tuesday, as an example, and you get out the following Tuesday and you see even these $30 stocks having $10 moves over 4 days, which is an astronomical percentage return, which, by the way, you should be focusing on that kind of stuff. I see a lot of traders being angry, looking for returns that would make the biggest hedge fund blush. You mostly should be concerned with, is my equity account going up every day? Am I really starting to get conviction and understand fully what I'm doing? And then you start to trade bigger. You don't go chasing money first, because that's like getting in a car and just wanting to drive fast because you can. Learn what to do first. And that's actually exactly what we're going to talk about right now. But I want to bring something up very quickly, and I don't normally do this in the videos. If you are struggling to achieve the massive gains that the market has made available over the last 3 months specifically, man, click down and trade in real time with me for 30 days. Join the coaching program. What are you waiting for? The cost of leaving all of this money on the table in exchange for a $295 investment in yourself for 30 days of real-time coaching and my entire program and access to me for 30 days, it's a no-brainer. I don't know why you wouldn't do it, because there's so much exciting things going on in the market right now. I want to see you participate in it. So click on the link below, and you see a lot of the other people that are in the program, and you could then make the decision. I'm not going to push it hard on you, but I'm going to ask you: are you achieving what you want to achieve right now? Well, the market's gone up for basically 3 months in a row. If you haven't, again, there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. So just click through and see if it's for you. If it is, I'd love to see you on the other side. But what we're going to do right now, I'm going to do a quick lesson on the steps. They're proven steps because, if you know, I've had my 2 trading firms. This is what I go through and what I went through when I had my firms, and this is what I teach everybody in the coaching right now. There's proven steps that if you follow the steps, you have a much better chance of coming out on the other side, where every single day you wake up with conviction that you expect to make money. Now, here's the key. Does that mean you're going to make money every day? Some people do, but that's not the point. It's in the context of the fact that you expect to make money the same way anybody else who's running a business expects to make money, because you know what you're doing. There's a big difference between you know what you're doing versus once in a while you hit a lucky trade. You want to look at charts and put the pieces together, build a great argument for an idea, and say, if that trade makes money or if it doesn't, it's the right idea. And the more I do that, the more chances I have to be consistently profitable on a month after month after month basis. And that's when you see your account go like this, and you skip into work happy because you're in a good mood, because you're the asset. That's the whole point. I want to help you become the money-making asset. So let's actually jump into we're going to go into some slides, which is something I normally don't use, but I think it would be kind of fun. So we're going to start out with, during the learning phase, much of your focus should be on understanding the difference between a great scenario and everything else. And if you're a regular follower of the channel, you've heard me start up here where there's your A+ trade, and then there's everything else that's not your A+ trade. Now, if you really want to ascend quickly, you really need to stick with your A+ trade. But the problem is, Most people don't have A plus trades. Most people only have entry signals, and that's it. And that's not a trade. That's like one little tiny piece of the trade. So again, identifying a great trade scenario, which is all of the pieces, and we're going to get into what those pieces mean in a second. There's what's going on in the market. And when we're talking about the market, I mean the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ. You could put in the Russell 2000. The more of those pieces of the market you can put together, you basically want to say, is all of the rope of the market being pulled in the same direction? Then you break it down and you go down by industry and ultimately by the stock. So you want to put those pieces together in a way where, is the market obvious? Yes or no? How obvious is it? How long has it been obvious? Is it 1 day? Is it 2 days? Is it a week? Is it a month? How much real money was put into the market? Now, what's really super interesting is industry. For the period of time when the market bounced off the lows, it was a massive spike in mostly technology stocks. Quite honestly, it's technology stocks and what you're calling stay-at-home stocks, right? Now we're seeing a shift where technology is not bouncing, and other stocks that were kind of dead in the water, airlines, for example, are actually getting a little bit of a spike now, and stores where you can get outside are getting a little bit of a spike. And stocks like Microsoft haven't moved in 3 weeks. So you need to be on top of this. Again, understanding a great trade scenario, the market, and then which stock sectors and industries ultimately filter down to which stocks. Then you need to understand that whole picture in multiple time frame analysis. That's what MTFA stands for. So this is, and if you can imagine what I'm talking about right now, most traders will look at one thing. What do you think about this stock? What do you think about this entry? That's one piece. Again, that's like driving and saying, I just know the gas. That's not enough. That's a great scenario. Your A plus trade has all of those things in sync, and risk that you can accept in relation to the profit potential. And again, this is, I'm not selling it. I'm just telling you what's going on. This is the whole point of the coaching program, is me walking you through all of these distinctions so that you fully understand what a great trade looks like, so that you can every single day expect to make money. And then the last piece of this, which of course is what needs to be done before you do anything in any of your stocks, you need to know your news and your numbers. You need to know your levels. You need to know his earnings coming out. Were there any upgrades, downgrades? And even if it wasn't in your stock, what about a stock in that industry of a stock you're looking to play? And how will that affect the trade that you're going to make? So before you allocate any money to any new idea, ask yourself if it's a great idea. Not if it's a great entry. None of that little micro trading management stuff. Is the entire picture that I'm looking at, from the market to the industry to the stock to multiple time frames. How far did it move recently? How much room does it have to go? And is there any news out on the stock? So what we are doing right now, this training, the Stocks Breakfast, and again, if you want to take it deeper, join me for 30 days. This training will help you learn how to do this. The skill of managing trades, and this is crucially important, is a separate skill from finding a trade. There's finding an idea, which you guys can call chart reading, but then there's making money on that trade, which is tape reading and becoming a trader. So here's the important part. No matter how long, and a lot of traders don't want to accept this, no matter how long you've been a trader, you're still a beginner until you are earning money with consistency. Now, here's what I want to get across. You are still a beginner until you are earning money with consistency. And I am talking about month to month to month. I'm not talking about you made money yesterday because Zoom reported earnings and it exploded and you bought it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in a normal market condition, day in and day out, you're pulling money out of the market. That's when you make the jump from beginning trader to somebody who has the right, because you've earned it, to scale up. So what are we going to talk about now? So the big question, little fancy graphics there, right? How do you transform from a beginner trader to a successful trader? I'm talking to you. All right. First, you develop an edge so you can believe in your strategy. Now, this is important here. An edge means something is going to happen more often than not. Most traders, again, don't have an edge, and that's why they struggle. If you haven't made what you're supposed to have made or could have made over the last 3 months since the bottom in March, you don't have an edge. You don't, it simply means you're not looking at the charts and saying, I understand what's going on, and this is probably going to happen more than likely. And I'll tell you where it's also been a problem over the last few weeks for a lot of traders, and specifically the last 7 to 10 trading days. It's too high. It's too high. No, it's not too high. Every day we've been seeing new stocks make all-time highs. Every day we've been seeing even $30, $40 stocks explode. You can't say it's too high. Yeah, sure, there's eventually going to be profit taking, but you don't realize how much money you're leaving on the table by trading scared because one day it might turn around, as opposed to being involved in all these moves where we open lower and just keep traveling higher. You must be looking long when long is the right trade. And the only way to know that is to be able to look at a chart and say, this is what's going on, and that's the only thing I'm going to do. In this case, it has been to be long. Now, here's the next part that so many traders just, it's kind of like a secret hidden in plain sight. Test and get feedback with real trades and small shares. This is the value of real-time coaching. You should be trading 100 share lots until you get to the point where you're getting feedback back from the market, going back to the first step here, developing your edge and saying, is what I'm doing happening more often than not? And the second part, am I managing it correctly? Don't trade with a simulator. It is the biggest piece of garbage way of thinking you have confidence, because you will never translate simulated trading to real trading. I'm telling you right now, I challenge anybody to tell me that they simulated traded, and I'm not talking about back testing. I'm talking about you actually place trades and then manually place those same trades in real time. This is such a huge part of becoming a successful trader and a cornerstone. When I had my firm in New York City, we were trading 500 million shares a month. All the new traders were forced to trade real time, as many shares, as many stocks as possible that met the A+ criteria to get real time feedback for us to assess. That's when you ultimately become a trader. Some traders go straight to trading too many shares, and then they trade scared, and they're not getting any feedback because they're judging everything based on how the trade made money, as opposed to, was it a good idea and did you manage it properly? Next, begin making a big list of what not to do. Going back to what we just talked about, test and get feedback. Your feedback is, okay, I'm not going to short strong stocks. That's stupid because I'm managing these trades on the short side because I feel like they're rolling over just a little bit, and then they explode to the upside. So you start to make a list. Don't trade stocks without activity. Don't trade stocks that aren't moving. Don't trade stocks that are light volume. When you start to eliminate all of those things, that's when you start to narrow your focus to only what works. Now, this is a key, this last part here. You can't trade everything. Stop watching in chat rooms. Stop watching on the internet. Stop watching on StockTwits and Twitter. Everybody who feels like they're watching somebody else is doing something they're not, you can't trade everything. Your resources are limited. Your skills are limited at this particular moment. Even mine, everybody can trade bigger, right? Trade with focus. The more focus you have, the easier it's going to be for you to be massively, massively successful sooner. Because think about it. Think about every single successful, huge company that's out there. And let's just talk, well, I'll just use Starbucks as an example. They don't sell pizza. Why? Because they're really, really good at selling with coffee and that experience of being in the coffee place, right? And within those drinks, right? In your trading experience, you could focus on a sector. You could focus on just a basket of stocks. You could focus on only trading long. But I implore you right now, choose something to be good at, okay? Next, have a probability mindset. Once you start testing, once you start getting feedback, once you start making a list of what not to do, now you're starting to develop your edge, and every single trade you place is based on probabilities. And this is really a big part of trading. You pull out of the equation now all of the stress that goes with a losing trade. It gets eliminated like that for one big reason. Now you're thinking of, okay, this one trade is one trade of many that my edge is going to do the hard work. So I'm thinking from probabilities, I'm not going to be all stressed out because one trade didn't make money. It's a big sample of trades from a probability of over time it's going to work. And last but not least, you find the motivation to trade discipline. And I'm going to give you like a super, super insider tip here. And I gotta say insider tip carefully, right? With the markets. Finding the motivation to trade discipline, for me personally, happened in one way. When you make a big list of what not to do, and you realize all of those trades that you're taking that are garbage trades that have nothing to do with your A+ strategy, those are the trades are why you get, those trades are why you don't get paid. All of those trades that don't meet your strategy, all of those trades that have zero edge, all of those trades that have moved far away from your A+ trade up here, that's why you don't get paid. Because let's face it, when it's obvious and you have your strategy and you got your game face on, it's easier to make money And you know it. You know you can make money when it's obvious. It's all of these garbage trades. You don't. That's the reason you don't get paid. So I want to bring it back to the point. People think you need to have this super motivation to be disciplined. People think you need to be, I gotta be like this robot. No, you don't. All you need to do is acknowledge the fact that when you take these crappy trades, that's why you're not getting paid. You just stop taking them because it just doesn't make any sense to take them. You don't feel pressured anymore. You literally look at the charts and you're like, I don't see anything to do. I'm not going to put money in harm's way because it's dumb. Why would I throw away $2,000 when there's nothing to do? Then 2 days from now, it might line up perfectly. I could make 4,000 and I'll actually be up 4,000 as opposed to being down 2, making 4 and only being up 2. Think about what that means over the course of a year and the lifetime of your trading experience managing your own capital. So I wanted to walk you through that because we're having a lot of new people join up into the coaching program who work hard, but they're not focused on a process like this. They're trading too heavy. They don't have anybody to ask the questions to. And believe it or not, I'm actually trying to bring their share size down dramatically so that during the course, during the program, they can understand the strategy, trade it flawlessly, and then get to a point where they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and then come out the other side where they expect to make money if the market's obvious. So I hope those steps help give you structure. And I'm telling you, easily the biggest one is to develop an edge, know what your A+ trade is, and trade it flawlessly, but really focus on either a sector, focus on a basket of stocks, so focus on a universe of stocks like I do, and then once in a while has new stocks that come in from scans in the news that you might consider trading. So if you have any questions about this, absolutely leave a comment. I hope this little lesson makes you think a little bit, because that's important. You can't just keep doing the same thing every day if you're and expect a different result. If it's you need to do something different. The market has been going straight up. There's so much opportunity right now. If you haven't taken advantage of it, there's a gap between where you are now and where you want to be, and only you can decide how you're going to fill that gap. Do you want to do it sooner or later? If you want to do it sooner, I'd love to have you in the program. Look down and join us. If not, either way, we'll stay friends, right? Have a great day, everybody.